Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib.
From Boston.
And we have a great show for you today. And if you want to call and ask questions, you can call in right now, 323-870-3857. And we'll be here till about 8 o'clock tonight. And tonight, brand new year, Beeb. I didn't even mention it. Brand new year, baby. 2020 way behind us now. We're in the midst of it. 2021, baby. Terence Crawford and Shawn Porter. Will that fight happen in 2021? We'll let you know. Apparently an offer has been extended, so we'll tell you all about it. And all the boxing in the UK has been suspended due to another outbreak of COVID. So we'll talk about that. But first, we're going to get started with DAZN. Ryan Garcia versus Cool Hand Luke Campbell, the WBC Interim Lightweight Championship, whatever that is. Explain this to me. Devin Haney is the WBC champion, correct?
Yes.
Actually, Teofimo Lopez but he's the franchise champion.
Yes.
So you can't really defend a franchise belt. You're not really a champion. I get that. Okay. It's like my belts back here. They really don't mean much. I can't defend them. You know what I mean?
It's like the corporate office. It's like the corporate office at McDonald's. Like you can send out checks and stuff, but you can't serve the public hamburgers.
I'm assistant to the assistant regional manager here.
So you're not actually open for business. You're basically in charge of operations from a human resources and an employee payroll and benefit standpoint, but you're not actually servicing the public like the actual restaurants are. So that's what the franchise champion is. Like you're like the corporate office of the corporate boss, the chairman of the WBC, so to speak, in the lightweight division.
This is always my favorite line when people see us. It says Capadonna 24. What up, Chips, Ponch, and John? Don't you remember that old cop show, Chips? Motorcycles?
But John had like light brown hair, like blondish brown hair. I don't look like John. You look like Punch.
Well, thank you. Yeah, well, I try to keep up, I'm just saying.
So I like the comparison, but it's totally inaccurate.
Oh, stop it. I like it. I like the comparison. How about that?
I've been told several times I look like John Travolta.
By who? Like John Travolta now, or John Travolta in 72?
In the summertime, I was walking down the street.
Uh-huh.
And this guy says, "Hey, how you doing? Did anyone ever tell you look like John Travolta?" Said it. Then I was at the gym one time. Another person said it to me. It's been said on at least 5 occasions. Yeah. Supermarket was said to me one time.
I get that. You see, you get like John Travolta. I get like George Lopez. See, I had somebody get out of the car and she told me, "Oh my God, you look just like George Lopez." She actually parked the car, got out like I was George Lopez or something like that.
I could see the resemblance.
Not Mario Lopez. I'm talking about George Lopez, like the older,
Yeah.
Not Mario.
I could see the resemblance.
What am I going to do? All right. Anywho, Ryan Garcia. Anyway, the WBC interim lightweight champion, Devin Haney, is a champion. I don't know why they need an interim champion, but doesn't matter. They're going to fight, whatever. Ryan Garcia wins by 7th round knockout over Luke Campbell. I tell you what, Beeb, this is fight of the year. It's only the 3rd, Garcia, I'll tell you what, man, Ryan Garcia came out really fast here, and I thought he was just going to steamroll. I think he thought he was going to steamroll Luke Campbell. He was throwing bombs in the first round. Campbell was using his jab. He was boxing very well. Garcia came out in the second. He was throwing some wide shots, and he got clipped. It was a left hook, put him flat on his back, and he was hurt. When he went down, you could tell he was hurt because his arm went behind him. He fell down on his side. CN, thank you so much. He says, Eric looks like Danny Trejo. I never get Mario Lopez or anything like that. Any of the real, the handsome guys. I always get Danny Trejo and,
It's Good actor though, Danny Trejo. Good actor.
He's very good. They call him the governor or whatever, the presidente or whatever they call
He's
him.
very good actor. Does good commercials and everything.
There you go. There's a comparison. Eric Lorda looks like Ron Jeremy. I like that. That's good too.
Oh my god.
There you go.
Wow. It's a little bit out of control. I don't know about that.
This chat is crazy, man. Yeah. Anyway, he goes down, man. The guy is really hurt, and I tell you what, man, Beeb, I thought that was it. And props to Beeb, man, because Beeb picked Luke Campbell to win. All right, he didn't win, and that's okay. But everything he said pretty much came true. He said Garcia has no defense, and he's going to get clipped. And I think you even called it with like a left hand or something like that. Yeah. And sure enough, man, he walked right into it, man. And count was on. He got back up, but he did look shaky. And he admitted after the fight that, yeah, I was a little shaken up. I was a little dizzy. He slowed down after that, kind of started boxing instead of just going out there trying to headhunt. You know what I mean? I think he thought he was just, like I said, man, going to go in there and knock this guy out, and he was, just going to steamroll him. Wasn't the case here, man. This guy's got a lot of experience. Wasn't the case. Boxed a little bit more. Campbell, I thought though, Campbell was doing, while he was boxing, Campbell was doing really good work, and he was doing really good work to the body. He was jabbing to the body really, really well. And I told my dad as we were watching this fight, I said, it'll be real interesting to see if this fight goes any kind of rounds, if this goes to the 7th, 8th, and 9th, what kind of effect those body shots are going to have on him, on Garcia, because he was getting solid shots in, doing real solid work. The problem for me is he just wasn't active enough the rest of the time. He wasn't winning rounds to me. Garcia was a little bit more busy. I think they threw about the same, but Garcia was definitely landing more. According to the punch stat, according to my eyes anyway, it looked like he was landing more. Looked like he was throwing more too, but he was just busier, He started to heat up in the round number 6. Garcia did. And then in round 7, and the 6th round, that's when he went to the ropes, wasn't it? That's when he got caught.
5th round.
Was it the 5th round?
Yeah, it was the 5th round. Yep.
Where he caught him at the end of the round or whatever. He caught Campbell at the end of the round. And then in the 7th round, he came out, he was heating up, and he just caught Campbell with a vicious body shot, left hook right to the liver. It was right on the button. And, if you've ever been hit there, if you've ever been tapped there, it hurts. It hurts bad. I mean, it's not a shot that you can just easily recover from. It was a really, really, really bad shot. What bothered me, though, is the DAZN announcer saying, well, does Campbell want to get up? Does he want to get up? Does he want any more? Listen, it's clear he's trying to get up. The guy's trying to get up, man. So I thought they were kind of questioning, whether he wanted to go forward or not. And I thought that was kind of unfair, to be honest with you. But picture perfect shot. It was incredible. You're not going to see a better body shot than that. I guarantee it, man. After the fight, Ryan Garcia calls out Tank Davis. I got to be honest, man. I think it might be a little bit premature for that. I think it might be a little bit premature to call out Tank Davis or Devin Haney or any of those guys right now. So, we'll see what happens. Chris Mannix went on record and proclaimed Ryan Garcia is the shot caller of the lightweight division after the win, despite not being a champion, not having, a belt or anything like that. Before we go into all the who shot John and what's next for Ryan Garcia, give me your take on the fight, because I heard a lot of people try to break this fight down before it happened. And even though you didn't pick the right guy, you had this fight scouted perfectly.
I was very hard on Ryan Garcia. And I'm going to say something here. Were the weaknesses still there that I pointed out? Yeah. But sometimes in life, when your strengths are so great, they can compensate for your weaknesses. And I downplayed the Reynoso's impact in developing Garcia. But I saw something yesterday, because I really keyed in and I was really watching this fight closely. It's the same thing with Canelo. I've said for years, his biggest weakness was his foot speed. right? Yeah, guys who had good
big knock
like
on him. Yeah.
yeah, Lara and Trout gave him problems. Obviously, Mayweather moved well, and what they did is they enhanced his strengths. So you never saw them, the Reynosos, any training footage. You never saw Canelo doing wind sprints, did you? Because they knew what they had. They knew that this guy was never going to be fast on his feet. So what did they do? They pulled out the pool noodles and they had him moving his head more, right? They had him throwing feints. So they worked out ways to minimize the weakness of the foot speed.
It's beautiful.
We're gonna feint our way in so we could freeze the guy, and while that guy is frozen, we could sneak in, right? So what they did with Garcia, again, he's never gonna be a Sugar Ray Leonard. He's never gonna be a James Toney with the upper body head movement. He's never gonna be that guy. But what they did was the right hand that I criticized that was a loopy shot. Yesterday, even though in the beginning he was a little short with it, he started touching him a little bit, but he never really hit him flush with it, but he was touching him with it. He threw it straight as an arrow yesterday. The hook that I said was wide, it was shortened up last night. And you could see in that 5th round when he threw that hook that hurt him, right? How short and crisp that was. It was a short and compact and as beautiful as a hook that he could have thrown, right? I said that he loaded up with a lot of stuff and the offense wasn't fluid. The offense flowed last night. It flowed. The punches flowed. He didn't look like he was a bundle of adrenaline built up, like, clenched fists, like, he looked relaxed and they calmed him down. And they settled him down.
Yeah. So
what they did was they made him more efficient offensively. Okay? I'm not a big fan of the hand positioning. There's a lot of guys, and Manny Pacquiao's one of them. There's a lot of fighters, Amir Khan's one of them. When they're on defense, they change their hand positioning to like that ear muff. And then when they're on offense, they bring their hands in a different, down to their chest a little bit, whatever. You see how Garcia does that still. Brings his right hand and he has his left hand a little bit low, whatever. But then when he's on defense, he earmuffs. But one thing I saw last night when he brought his hands up, before he used to be like this, and he used to just stand there and catch shots. Last night, he had his hands a little bit open and he was actually looking while he had the guard up high and he was catching shots. And he was punching. So he is a counterpuncher, but he's not a slip and shoot, a catch, parry, and shoot type of guy. What he does is he absorbs the shot on the gloves, and while the guy is resetting and recoiling and bringing his hand back, that's when he punches. Okay? So before he used to earmuff and just stand there and catch shots and wait, and then allow the guy to reset. Now he had the gloves open a little bit, like this. Instead of being like this and just catching, right? He was like this and he was peeking through. He had a clear line of sight at his opponent and he was watching what his opponent was doing. And you could see at times Campbell was he's catching the shots on the gloves and he was punching he was punching from out of that defensive posture and counter punching and being able to shoot the shots instead of having to constantly go like he was going like this before and then letting the guy unload on him, and then when the guy finished stopping, then he'd bring his hands down like to that stance. This time he was like this, and he was actually looking at what was coming at him, and after he was catching shots, he was throwing the right hand so he was throwing the punches from up high with his hands up high instead of bringing his hands down. So the hook wasn't being thrown from the hip and from below his chest. He was actually throwing the punches with his hands held up high yesterday. So the offense was refined and it was sharpened up and it was made to be more efficient. And he was catching a lot of shots on the gloves. And again, like I said, he wasn't just muffing up. He was actually had his gloves and he was peeking through. He had a line of sight. So a lot of guys when they air muff like that, they're in a position where I'm just catching shots right now. I'm not worried about throwing anything back. He actually opened up the gloves and he was looking through the guard and he was looking for openings while in the defensive stance. Because there's a lot of guys, even Pacquiao does it. You'll see Pacquiao, he'll go like this and he'll stand there like this and he'll wait for the guy to stop punching. Then he just changes the hand position again and then he goes on offense. Garcia showed that he could still fire from that defensive posture. He didn't change his hand. He didn't have to change his hand positioning at all. I also criticized that he wasn't really creative with the offense. He was just blowing guys out, loading up with big shots and just walking through guys. He didn't have to get creative. That left hand, the way he landed that body shot, it was one of the most beautiful feints you'll ever see. And who else does that feint? Canelo Alvarez does the same move. That was a Canelo Alvarez move that he used for that knockout. So I have to give full credit to Ryan Garcia because that punch that he got knocked down with, I believe it was the second round, if I'm not mistaken.
Second round, left hook, yeah.
Everyone's saying Luke Campbell can't punch. In his 20 victories, he's got 16 knockouts. No one's saying he's Deontay Wilder or he's Sonny Liston or he's George Foreman or he's Tommy Hearns. But he's not Paulie Malignaggi either. Okay? He's a respectable puncher. Okay? He's got some quality knockouts. He hit Ryan Garcia perfectly on the chin. And you saw Ryan Garcia's head snap back. The kid went down and his legs kind of bent up underneath him. You know that's a good shot when a guy's legs bend up and he hits the mat like a sack of potatoes. That kid popped up. His eyes were clear. That says two things. He fucking wanted it, number one. He wanted it.
Yeah.
Balls of fucking steel. And number two, kid's in phenomenal shape to be able to recover that quickly. He popped up, didn't even take an 8 count. So I know what happens if he gets hit with a good shot. Everyone's going to dismiss Campbell. Oh, well, what happens if Tank lands that? Well, again, Tank's 5'5". All right? He's at a 5-inch height disadvantage and a 3-inch reach disadvantage. For him to land
point. That's a good point.
For him to land a shot like that, he's going to have to reach up. So he's not going to get the same leverage that Luke Campbell got on that shot, number one. You get more leverage when you're punching down or punching straight. When you're punching up, you're losing leverage. Oh, people, what about the uppercut? Again, the way Garcia holds his hands a lot, he keeps that left hand across his body. You notice that? It's going to be hard to land the uppercut, okay? And plus, Garcia is great. What he did show yesterday too. In the beginning, he was trying to find his way in establishing his range, but around the third round, he had his distancing and his spacing and the range gauged perfectly. He's not going to let Tank get close. I know a lot of people think that Tank fight's a dangerous fight. I think Garcia beats Tank because of the speed, okay, and because of the size, and because of Garcia's not a guy that's just tall and has good reach. He's not a guy who's just big for that division. He's 5'10", all right. He's got a 71-inch reach. Tank's got like a 67-inch reach, and he's like 5'5". Okay, Tank's not really even a lightweight. Okay, how many fights has Tank really had at lightweight? He hasn't really established himself at lightweight at all. I think Garcia beats Tank. I think Garcia beats Devin Haney. I think the one guy that Garcia does not beat is Teofimo Lopez. I can make a case right now, and again, you would have to put Lomachenko number 2 just based off of, just out of respect for Lomachenko. I could see people ranking him number 2. And if I was to make a list, I would put Lomachenko at number 2 out of respect. But in my opinion, I think Garcia beats everyone in that division except for Teofimo Lopez.
Wow.
That's just my opinion.
Wow.
Because I think that he is so dangerous offensively. And, people can question the defense all they want. But if your offense is so dominant, it's so strong, and you're able to impose your offense the way Garcia is able to impose his offense. So when you're so talented offensively like that, so dangerous offensively like that, you're constantly putting your opponent on defense. So if your opponent's on defense, his hands are staying home. So he has a style where he can make a guy's hand stay home, sort of like how Teofimo made Lomachenko's hand stay home in the first 7 rounds of their fight. Now, I'm not saying that he has as many gifts as Teofimo Lopez. I'm not saying that at all. But what I am saying is, because his offense is so good, and because he's so good of a counterpuncher, his offense can really make up for his defensive flaws. Because if he look at like what he did with Campbell, like Campbell was landing a lot of good body shots early, but after the 3rd round, when Garcia really started establishing the range and started getting the jab going pretty well, started finding the home for the right hand, even though he wasn't landing the right hand flush, it was being partially blocked, but it was still pushing Campbell back. It was actually still partially landing, but even though it was partially landing, it was still busting up Campbell's face. The kid's very heavy-handed. The kid's a very hard puncher. And he even showed me some surprising power, more so in the right hand than I thought he had last night, because he was landing the right hand and Campbell was partially blocking it. But even though he was partially blocking it, it was still getting through partially and hurting him, and it was pushing him back. So his offense is just so fierce, and it's just so relentless and so dangerous. And because he's a good counterpuncher as well, he can really stifle his opponent's offense. And in that regard, his offense becomes his defense. We hear the old term, a good offense is a good defense. I think that he totally displays that, and I think that's applicable to his style. So I give the kid full credit. He answered a shit ton of questions for me. Like, can he come back from adversity? Can he take a good shot? Can he create? Can he switch things up? Can he create can he create openings? Can he be sophisticated with the offense? Does he have a high IQ? He answered a shit ton of questions for me. And the defense is never going to be great, but it was a little bit better last night. So I got to give him full credit.
Yeah. D-Style Boxing, thank you so much. DJ Zamora the third, or number 3 is in there. He says Garcia is definitely a hard puncher. Demler Zamora, DJ Zamora, basically DJ Zamora, we've had him a friend of the show, was a sparring partner. And I heard this too. And he said his power was real, for sure, man. And DJ can hit too. He's a really good up-and-coming boxer, man. He's a very good fighter. So for him to be in there with Ryan Garcia, I mean, that kid's got a lot of talent too. Beeb, I agree with your points. The one thing, I tell you what, man, the one thing that I don't agree with is that he beats any of those guys. He doesn't beat Teofimo. To me, he doesn't beat Devin Haney, and I don't know that he beats Gervonta Davis. Now, I think they're all great fights. I don't know that I think they could all go either way. But I don't know that he really beats those guys. But I think time will tell. I think he has to tighten up on his defense. And I know what you're saying. A good offense is your best offense is your best defense is your offense. I get it. I'll be real interested to see him because he's a busy fighter, but he's an action fighter. You know what I mean? Leighton Evelyn, thank you so much. He says, Beeb, I'm 45, boxed since I was 8. The first fight when I was 10, and you are taught to jab high. So when you fight a small guy, it's not natural. Anything to add to that? He was going on.
I was never taught to jab high. I was taught to jab straight. I was always taught to jab straight. You know what else I was taught? When you do jab low, I was taught to bend my knees. I was not told to just jab and keep my upper body. I was told to tuck my chin, bend my knees, and then jab low. In other words, so don't just throw the punch down without tucking my chin and bending my knees and making the body adjustment. So yeah, I was never taught to jab up. I was never taught to jab high. When you jab up high, there's only one way. There's only one way you get leverage when you jab high. If you fight out of a crouch and you're thrusting upward, and you're getting that lift from your legs, you can generate a little bit of power that way. But I was always taught to jab straight. I was never taught to jab high.
Well, you jab straight to protect your face too. You know, your shoulder covers.
Exactly.
Tucked, your shoulders tucked. And you're jabbing straight out, and that way, if something comes over the top, it's going over the top.
Well, let me ask you. It's like anything else in life. When you're reaching up for a shelf that's up high, and you go to grab something, right. It's harder. You lose a lot of grip strength when you do that, right?
Absolutely.
But when something's like eye level to you, can just boom, grab it like nothing, right?
Right.
So again, when you're reaching up at anything, you're losing leverage.
Right.
You know, when you're going up,
right,
you're losing leverage. Unless you can, a jab is something where you're pushing off your back foot straight. An uppercut is where you're bending your knees and you're actually dipping your shoulder and coming up. So again, unless you can get your legs, if you're in a crouch and you're jabbing up like that and you're pushing off your legs, that's one thing. And you're throwing it short, you're going like that. That's one thing. But to just have be in your regular stance and pushing off your back foot, and as you're pushing off your back foot, throwing that punch straight in the air when you're pushing off your back foot straight, you're not going to get much leverage out of that. I'm just being, you're not.
And maybe what he's alluding to, I know when people hold the pads, a lot of times they'll hold them up, and you're actually jabbing up because of the height they're holding them at. But I'm like you. I was always taught to jab completely straight. You tuck your chin
and have that shoulder right.
Have that shoulder right there. You tuck your chin, and that jab comes straight out.
If you're like this, look where your shoulder is.
Right.
You're not protecting. You're not protecting anything.
No.
You know. So.
Yeah, I mean that's what I was taught. Apparently, that's what you were taught too. So
yeah, we can agree to disagree on that one, I guess.
Yeah. So Chris Mannix called Ryan Garcia the shot caller after the win in that division. Is he right? Because I still think Teofimo is the undisputed champion at 135, minus the WBC belt because he's the franchise champion. I think it's a little too. I think it's premature. I really do. I think it's a little bit too early.
Here's the thing. It's all up. It's all up to the zone. To be honest with you, and we were led to believe that Canelo had this phenomenal contract via Golden Boy through the zone. So we don't. Again, like, can we really put much stock into what any? I'm not saying the zone fighters aren't getting paid. Don't get me wrong, but can we really guarantee that the zone is going to get behind them fully? Like it all depends on what if the broadcasters want a specific fight, then they're going to put up the money for it. Right. If they don't, they're not. So can Garcia just fight any Tom, Dick, and Harry? And the zone's gonna open up the checkbook for him and just give him a blank check? No. I will say this: when you look at Teofimo Lopez and you look at Ryan Garcia, like Ryan Garcia, a lot more celebrities and stuff seem to know him. He has more of a mainstream following. Tank's got a good mainstream following. So between him and Tank.
Big fight. That's a big fight.
Yeah. The fight that makes the most sense is him and Tank.
Well, I would say the fight that makes the most sense is him and Devin Haney. Given the fact that they're both on DAZN, it's the easiest fight to make. Wow, thank you so much, Leighton Evelyn. Beeb taught to jab high, so when you fight, it's easier not to get tired. I get you. I get that. I grew up in the gym with my mate that went on to be world champion, Barry Jones. I know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm on about, brother. Said it with respect.
Again,
Absolutely, man. Hey,
again, I just disagree with it. I don't.
Yeah.
If you want to jab high,
yeah, we were just taught differently. Yeah.
If you want to jab high, jab high. I mean, I don't feel comfortable throwing punches in the air like that. I just don't. I like throwing at the target. I get
what he's saying about being tired. I get what he's saying because it does exert more energy. Because we've done it before. Everybody's done it before. But yeah, I see what he's saying. I get it. I think we were just taught differently. It was just two different ways. That's all.
I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that you can't. You can do whatever you want, but I mean, you're never going to.
Hey, listen. Hey, for 20 pounds, hey, I'll jab high. It doesn't matter to me.
I'm gonna be honest with you. If anyone was ever caught throwing a jab high, like in my gym, they would have got thrown out. I'm just saying.
Hey, listen, for the pounds that we got here, I agree with Leighton. Hey, it is what it is. You know, you can buy me. It doesn't matter. You know,
I don't throw why would I throw it if my opponent's standing right in front of me, and we're the same height? Why would I throw a jab over his head? I mean,
yeah, I think that it all comes from, I think the high jab technique, what he's talking about. To me anyway, it's always been like a training technique to keep your arms in shape. But the other thing is too, when you crouch down,
if you're fighting out of a crouch
straight up, but you're fighting like that. And then I know what he's talking about. I don't, again,
if you're fighting out of a crouch, I could see jabbing upward. But again, you don't just jab upward. You don't just stick your arm out. You come up with your legs and you're jabbing, like you're pushing your legs. Yeah. Okay. So I get
it. But hey, you know what? I agree with him. Hey, gave us a super chat. I agree with him, buddy. That's it.
Yeah, you're not going to be able. You can't pay me to agree with you. It's not going to happen.
You can pay me. You can pay me to agree with you all day.
I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong, but I'm going to disagree with you. You
can pay me all night.
I have a difference of opinion on that. That's it. You're never going to see me on a heavy bag throwing a jab up like that. Just not going to see it.
Don't worry about him. You could see me on a heavy bag throwing a high jab. I'll tell you that.
I'm 6'1". I got a 75-inch reach. I don't fight out of a crouch unless I'm on the inside. I don't fight small unless I'm on the inside. When I'm on the outside, I fight tall.
All right. Let's talk about our train wreck of the week, Beeb. Let's talk about this. This was this was beautiful, wasn't it?
I actually got excited.
And you wonder why I say, my feeling on it, here we go. So our train wreck of the week this week was Kate Abdo. So in what can only be called a bizarre interview from the get-go, Kate Abdo was interviewing Henry Garcia. He's the father of Ryan Garcia. And she said, you make them pretty. This is a quote. She said to Ryan Garcia's dad, you make them pretty, you make them athletic. That's some good sperm you got there, sir. Are you high? I mean, what is wrong with you? What kind of thing is that to say? And you wonder why, like I said, man, I mean, come on, go do Instagram modeling or whatever it is you do when you're not here trying to talk boxing because you're not good at it. Some people are good at it. Who'd you mention? Christina Poncher?
Yeah, she's good.
She's good. She's good. Leave her here. She's good. We like her.
I like her.
We like her. This one, not so much, man. Not so much. Just a moronic thing to say.
And she was flirting with Chris Mannix, telling him how they were picking out, how she was picking out his outfit and shit.
Jesus.
Oh, you didn't wear the outfit. I
can't.
Is that something that you need to talk about on air?
Right.
That's inappropriate. It was openly flirtatious to Chris Mannix.
Right.
And again, if you want to get your your
freak on with Chris Mannix, don't do it on my TV though.
You want to get your shit off, that's fine, man. But be professional. Can you imagine if that was a guy interviewing like Ryan Garcia.
Easy Box just said in the chat. Could you imagine that?
Imagine if that was
what
like
if he was
Ryan
interviewing a chick? What if he was interviewing a chick? Okay.
Well, let's just say this. What if that was Ryan Garcia's mom in there, right?
Yes.
And Chris Mannix was saying, "Hey, man, you got some really good ovaries there, man. You got some good eggs, honey.
You got some good eggs."
I
got in trouble for that this morning. Because I was kind of, I was telling Lisa about this, and I said, "Well, what if he said you had good ovaries?" And I was told that, no, that's a part of the anatomy. The eggs are what we're after. So she had good eggs, or what would like. It was just Reese Mack said what I said too earlier. I said, it would have been better phrased if you had good genes, not good sport. What is wrong?
All I would have said was that you got some good genetics there, sir. Well done.
Right, there you go. I don't even know if I would have went there.
Oh, I would have went there. I mean, I don't know.
Well, you asked. What were you asking those two brothers if they double teamed the chick? What's the matter with you? It's a new year. Do you remember that the Barrientes? And now he went out there and lost.
It's my fault.
Probably thinking about that.
It's my fault that he lost.
It probably is. Maybe they did try that. Maybe Maybe before the fight he did try that. That's what happened.
You know what happened? He probably went to Cheetahs. Providence.
Cheetahs. There's a Cheetahs like in every big city in there.
He probably went to Cheetahs in Providence, Rhode Island.
From Boston.
And you know what happened? He got the golden treatment. He got, he paid for the platinum package.
What is the golden treatment? Is that what I think it is? Where,
No, the platinum package where, he got like 3 girls at one time, and then they probably let his brother join in there. They probably did it, and that's why he lost. I'm sorry. I mean, it's my
he probably let his brother join in.
Yeah.
What's the matter with you?
Platinum package, baby, at Cheetahs. You want to hear the funniest thing? This is the funniest thing. I'll make it real brief.
Why not?
So my friend got married back in 2002. All right. Jeez. And we went to this place called the Foxy Lady. And we had his bachelor party there, right?
Right.
Did you ever see that movie Stripes when they went and they had that wrestling match? Yeah. You know what? He had a similar thing, but it was called foam wrestling. So it wasn't mud. It was all like foam, like shaving, like big foam, like shaving cream type shit.
Right, I'm down.
The girls like were naked. I think they just had their bottoms on, and and both of them were beating the shit out of my my buddy who was getting married. It was fucking hilarious, bro. It was hilarious. I said to myself, man, I said to myself, why couldn't he just tag me in, bro? Why I wanted to get tagged in.
Why didn't you get tagged in? Why didn't you just jump in there? It's a strip club. What do you think? They're going to reject you? They don't do that there.
I wasn't part of the thing. I wasn't part of the match.
You weren't part of the match.
So they had a foam. Did anyone ever see a foam match?
I've never seen a foam match. No.
It was a foam match. You've seen mud wrestling.
Yes.
All types of stuff like peanut butter wrestling, whatever. All types of shit.
Listen, I don't know what kind of donkey shows and everything like that you guys do in Boston, all right? But here in Ohio, we don't do that stuff. We're very clean here.
All right.
Midwestern.
This is East Coast shit.
This is way East Coast. Way East Coast. Unbelievable. What's the matter with you? Not all.
Oil wrestling. Yeah, I've seen that too, yeah.
Yeah, oil wrestling, yeah. Peanut butter wrestling? I've never seen that.
No,
Jello, Jello, like the Jello.
Put peanut butter, a little fluff. Oh God,
what's the matter with you?
I'm sorry, I can't help it. I can't help it.
Oh my goodness! And this show has just completely delved down in the gutter at the beginning of 2021.
I can't help
it. Undercard there was Rene Alvarado versus Roger Gutierrez for the WBA super featherweight title. Gutierrez wins a unanimous decision over Alvarado by the scores of 113-112 on all cards. Okay. Listen, man, their undercard was not that great.
Really?
I didn't think so. Yeah.
Can I? You know what I was? You know what I
Did you
was
want to
going
talk about that fight? I was gonna just skip it, but go ahead.
No, we could skip. I was just going to say that was a real good fight because I think that knockdown at the end really saved him because I had him down. I had it 113 to 112 too, but I had him down in the 11th round. He needed that knockdown to win the fight on my card because even though as crazy as this may seem, Gutierrez had he scored 2 knockdowns in the third, and he had that knockdown. At the time, I gave Alvarado 1, 2, 3. I had it 7 rounds to 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I had it 7 rounds to 5.
Actually,
Uh-oh. Eric just dropped off. Hope he can jump back in. Hope his internet didn't go down. But yeah, I had that fight 7 rounds to 5. And I thought that Gutierrez had that beautiful third round, but I had him losing the first 2. And I had him losing rounds 4 through 7 as well. And I had him losing the 10th. And I thought he finished strong. I thought he finished strong with the 11th and 12th. So I thought it was very interesting, man. I thought it was a very interesting fight. Okay, he's back.
I didn't think it was that interesting, babe. I got to be honest.
You didn't like the fight?
Me. No.
You know what happened was I think that a lot of the rounds were close, and Alvarado was coming forward, but he was there were a lot of rounds where the shots weren't landing clean, and they were kind of like you had Gutierrez waiting to be the counter puncher, and the thing is, I just don't think a lot of clean shots were landed throughout the course of the fight. I thought a lot of shots were being blocked. I thought that Alvarado, a lot of the shots he was throwing were being partially blocked by Gutierrez, but Gutierrez was just waiting for long periods of time sometimes. And there were a lot of rounds where the guys just didn't throw a lot of punches. And when they did throw punches, they weren't really landing. So
Right.
I guess the knockdowns is what made the fight eventful. Without the knockdowns, the fight wouldn't have been entirely eventful. But I actually liked the fight. I liked the fight. I liked the card. I thought this was probably the best card that Golden Boys put on all year. But of course, we have the pandemic. But I thought this was one of DAZN's better cards. In other words, I thought it was a pretty good card. I don't know.
Nah. I'd rather watch women's mud wrestling
or foam wrestling.
I'd like to see foam wrestling
or peanut butter and fluff wrestling. I thought it was a good undercard though. I liked the card. I'll be honest.
They really do that up there?
Peanut butter and fluff wrestling? No.
Yeah.
That's just one of my fantasies. I thought I'd throw it.
That's just one of my fantasies.
I have the Teddy's peanut butter. I buy those big things. I love peanut butter, man. It's one of my.
I love peanut butter too.
I think I eat peanut butter almost just about every day. I put it on everything. I put peanut butter on in my oatmeal. I put peanut butter on. I buy these protein brownies. I put peanut butter on them. I make peanut butter.
Best, man.
Yeah, I put peanut butter on everything.
Love peanut butter. All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights here, and there's not a lot of them. In fact, there's only one, I believe, this weekend, January 14th in Tokyo, Japan. And I don't see any kind of, any TV on this. So you may have to catch it on YouTube. Maybe ESPN will pick it up. In Japan on the 14th, Keita Kurihara versus Takuma Inoue, 12 rounds bantamweights. Katsuki Mori versus Sore Takeda, 8 rounds junior flyweights. And that's pretty much it. Now, come January 20th, Showtime has a card, Patrick Cora versus Hushidibek Normatov, 10 rounds junior middleweights. And let me see if there's anything after that. Yeah, there's a couple after that. Not many. The big fight is going to be January 30th, and that's Caleb Plant versus Caleb Truax, and then Beck the Bully versus Sergey Kovalev on DAZN. So, yeah. All right, let's go to the phones here. 805. 805, you're live. Then again, maybe you're not.
Is that Nacho? Wake up.
Hey, guys. What's up?
Hey, what's happening?
Wake up, Nacho, please.
Yeah, what's going on? You have a hangover still? Huh?
I'm still lost with Beeb's stories about the strip club. Regarding the fights last night, I agree with Beeb. I think Garcia answered a lot of questions that were being asked of him, and he passed his test with flying colors, especially with him having gotten knocked down the way he did, and him actually having gotten back up and actually taking the fight to Campbell was really surprising, because I really didn't think that Garcia was going to do that. I thought Garcia was going to kind of wait and try to basically let Campbell come to him and then try to counter him and catch him with some sort of counter shot. But I got to give the kid credit. He got up. He went after him. He was aggressive the whole night. And like Beeb was saying, even though he's known for his left hook, the right hand was definitely causing some damage, because he threw a few right hands that did get through, and you could see Campbell, was hurt by the right hand. And even when he didn't, he was still getting marked up. So he did a hell of a job, basically catching him with that hook to end the fight. Like, Campbell was just waiting on the hook to the head, and as soon as he saw him, cover his head, he went low and he hit him right in the ribs where he never saw the shot coming, and that was it. It was good night for Campbell. He wasn't going to get up, no matter if they counted to 30. He wasn't going to get up from that.
No.
So I give him a lot of credit. He won the fight. The only thing is, I still think they need to give him at least a couple of more fights where he can really work on his defense. I didn't like the fact that when Campbell threw punches, he would make this motion of like trying to like jerk himself backwards, kind of like the way Muhammad Ali used to do. And that's what ended up costing him the knockdown, was that he basically he thought he was going to be able to be quick enough to avoid the left hand, and Campbell was able to land it right on the button and dropped him.
And he pulled straight back on that shot, didn't he, Nacho?
Yeah, he pulled all the way back, and I was like, what is this guy doing? Like, that's really bizarre, because I've never seen him in a fight do that. So I thought that was kind of, unusual for him. But maybe that's just something that he does in the gym when he spars and stuff, as far as, like, he tries to avoid, shots coming that way. But that's not going to work in a real fight. I think he needs to learn how to, kind of move his head a little more and not, jerk back. Because eventually he's going to get caught again like that, and he's not going to be able to get up if he does that all the time. But it was a good win. I wouldn't mind seeing, out of all the people that he brought up, I think Haney is the most logical one, because to me, Haney is the most untested of the three between him, Tank, and Lopez. So if they're going to go with one of those guys, I'm with Beeb. I'd rather see him take on Haney before he takes on Tank or Lopez, to be honest with you. But I wouldn't mind seeing him in there against guys like maybe Javier Fortuna or Richard Comey, or maybe even like Elise Selby before he goes to one of those guys. But
that wouldn't be a bad idea. I don't think that's a bad idea, man, at all.
Yeah.
I'd like to see Devin Haney fight one of those guys as well. But to me, Devin Haney passes the eye test. You know what I mean? I like him a lot, but we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. And then the other fight, the Gutierrez Alvarado fight, I thought it was an entertaining fight for the most part, but I was like, Beeb, I had Alvarado winning that fight going into the last round, even though Gutierrez had gotten the 2 knockdowns. I thought he was still trailing, and so the fact that he got that 3rd knockdown at the end, I think that just gave him the fight. So I had no problem with the scoring as far as Gutierrez getting the decision, because it was a close fight. It's not like either guy really, was dominating the other guy. It was kind of back and forth most of the night. That's a tough loss for Alvarado, because, he's got all these losses on his record, and now he's got to get to the back of the line to try to work his way back. So that's tough for him. But maybe they do a 3rd fight between him and Gutierrez now that each guy has a win apiece. That might be the most logical thing to do is break the tiebreaker
I
with
don't
a
want to
third
see a
one.
rematch. I don't
But
want to see
we'll
a
see.
rematch. I hate rematches. Oh, I'm not ordering that. Not
And
doing
then
it.
his brother was on the card too, Felix. That kid's a really good fighter, but he just doesn't get any love because he's fighting in like one of the smallest weight classes you can fight at. And he took apart DJ Creel, who I thought was actually going to put up a better fight, but man, Alvarado just went in there and just went after him and just, took him apart really easily. I wouldn't mind seeing Alvarado maybe fight one of the other guys with a belt. Like maybe a Golden Boy does have Soto, who holds one of the other belts. So maybe they do a unification between those two guys. Or maybe he takes on one of the other belt holders at 108. But, I mean, yeah, it's tough for guys like that to get a whole lot of love, especially under 115 pounds.
Yeah.
Because nobody really ever pays attention to the real small guys.
Those are tough divisions.
All
right, Nacho, we're going to get running, man. Thank you so much,
right,
man.
guys.
We appreciate it.
Yeah. All right. See you.
Almost caller of the year, Beeb. He was almost caller of the year.
Who got it?
What's up?
This guy. Wood.
Hello. What's going on?
What's happening, man?
Yeah, I picked not much. I picked Ryan. I picked Ryan to stop him because I just thought Ryan's speed and power was going to catch him, and that's why I picked Ryan to stop him. But
did you make a tape of this 8 months ago too?
No, it's on my. Everything I say is right on my channel. I do the videos right on my channel. I'm not gonna argue with you, man. I'm not saying that. I pick fights.
Let me ask you a question. Wood, let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question real quick. How do you feel about being caller of the year here? You were elected caller of the year. How do you feel about that?
I'm pretty proud of myself, man. I know I don't call a lot because a lot of times I'll be at work or I'll be doing something. I don't call a lot, but I appreciate it. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, man. You always have good calls. You always have good calls, man.
But you didn't pick me. You picked Georgia.
Yeah, but B picked you. It was cold. You guys both win.
Yeah, it was cool though. It's cool, yeah, but Ryan, his problem, they shouldn't put him in there with Tank. They should put Devin. See, Devin, I've been doing a lot of videos on Devin. Devin is overrated. Devin is overrated. He do not set up his shots properly, and then when he do get a shot in, he don't sit down. He don't sit down on the shot. He still got the amateur style, and I think Ryan would beat him and take his title, and then get like another fight in, and then fight Tank. Because Tank will go to his Tank. I've been training with Coach Kenny, and I grew up with Calvin Ford. I grew up with Calvin Ford. He used to live in my building. They just gonna go to his body, and they just gonna go to his body and stop him. That's all they're gonna do. They're gonna go to his body and stop. They're gonna go to his body and stop him. His body is wide open. The way he holds his guard, his body is wide open. And if he changes guard, Tank is more smarter. He's smarter than what people think he is in that ring. Everything he think boxing. He's gonna go right to his body and stop him. He's gonna go right to his body and stop him. And he hit harder than what people think. He hit real hard. When he hit Ryan in the body, he's gonna drop him. He's gonna go to his body and drop him. And Ryan start protecting his body. He's gonna go to the head and he's gonna get Ryan. He's gonna get Ryan out of there. That's a bad fight for him right now. But if they want that fight, Tank is hard to hit when he wants to be elusive. He can be elusive too. He got good upper body movement. He got power in both hands. He gonna catch him something to the body that he don't even see. And it's gonna be hard, and he's gonna get him out of there. He can box better than and he got a good jab. And he got a good jab too. He can offset Ryan's jab with his jab. He can make Ryan stop throwing his jab. And once he start going to that body and make a mess, he'll get him out of here. Devin Haney don't do none of those things. Devin Haney, he can go through Devin Haney can't even keep Ryan off him. He don't have no power. And he's not that really good of a boxer. Because his father trained him. And he don't have no really good principles. His father's training him. And his father not giving him the proper training. He looks good because of the people he was in there with. He was in there with an old ass Gamboa. He should have got rid of him. You don't supposed to go 12 rounds with Gamboa. You're supposed to get him the fuck up out of there. That's why they said he was gonna knock him out early. There was a showcase fight and they couldn't do it. There's a reason why they couldn't knock him out. Because he's not special. He's not special. It's just a bunch of trolls on the internet that's hyped this kid up to be something that he's not. You go back and watch old Mayweather, he don't do half the things that Mayweather did when Mayweather his age. He just hyped up over the internet. Got hyped up and he's got hyped up, but he's an average boxer. He's not nothing special. I believe that guy Chris Colbert better than him. A lot of people better than him, but he just get all the hype because people on the internet just hype him up. But he's not as good as people think he is. He's just an overhyped boxer. I see Ryan stopping him, but I don't think Ryan can beat Tank or the Teofimo. I believe they look. I believe he's like a 2 or 3 fights away from getting on that level, but he's getting there. But I believe Devin be a good test for him. Then put him in there with somebody else, and then throw him in there with Tank at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. He's mandatory for Ryan for Devin title. Let him take Devin title. He can beat Devin. Devin is easy. He's cake. He's food out there. Let him beat Devin. Then fight somebody else. Then fight Tank. Tank is very smart in that ring. He's smarter than people think he is, man, in that ring, man. He does a lot of shit. I've been watching him box real close ever since he was like 12 years old. He can box better than people think he can. It's gonna be an easy fight. It's gonna be an easy fight for him. But that's all I gotta say. That's all I really gotta say, man. Y'all be easy.
All right, man. Thank you so much, Wood. Caller of the year. Wood, one of the callers of the year, Beeb.
It's because of me.
Let me ask you a question, because I completely disagreed with most of the stuff he said. Do you think Devin Haney is a hype job and he's not even a good boxer? I will tell you this. Now, he has not had but Ryan Garcia was in this category yesterday, up until yesterday afternoon. Ryan Garcia was in the same category where he hadn't fought anybody. He's an Instagram fighter, blah, blah, blah. He beats Luke Campbell, and so he's passed the test. So I can definitely say Haney, has got a similar resume in the sense that he hasn't beaten a guy yet, like a top guy, like one of those guys that we're like, I want to see him up, I want to see him against him, see how he does, You could talk about Gamboa and everything, but Gamboa was on the slide. You don't think Devin Haney's a good boxer? You think he's just average? Really?
I think Devin Haney is good. I just don't see what everyone else sees.
Wow.
I just don't see what everyone else sees. I don't think he's a huge puncher.
Does he have to be though? Mayweather wasn't a huge puncher. There's a lot of people that haven't been huge punchers.
Well, here's the thing. I just don't see any standout qualities. I think he's good. I don't think he's a bad fighter. I just don't. There's nothing dynamic about the guy. Like there's nothing that like makes me like that just jumps out at me and says, "Wow!"
Really? Wow.
There's no wow factor when I watch Devin Haney. He's just a solid fighter.
That is so interesting to me because there's a wow factor every time I watch him, man. He looks so untouchable to me every time I watch him.
He just has that. He has a mentality where he's trying to just do as little as possible to win rounds.
I can see that.
I can see that. To me, I just don't see Ryan exudes confidence. You could just, Teofimo confident, killer instinct, both guys. Haney just, especially when you watch that Gamboa fight, it looked like he was just doing it up. He's always he's fighting like an older fighter would Now, you know how he's fighting like Mayweather did in the second half of his career, not going through what Mayweather went through in the first half of his career. So he's fighting to preserve himself. He fights in a way, obviously no one wants to get hit. No one wants to be in wars, whatever. But to me, he seems overly cautious, and he's really trying to going out of his way to take as little damage as possible. And in the process, his style to me seems overly conservative.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
he doesn't have. He doesn't have. He's just gonna coast and just. He has no problem taking a round off and then just like stealing it at the end with a flurry. In other words.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see both sides of it. I
thought he just coasted in that Gamboa fight.
Wasn't somebody injured in that fight? Was he injured, or what was the deal with that?
Confidence don't win fights. Wow, you're having an off night tonight, brother. So if you're not,
I think you're doing great. All right, I think you keep it coming.
If you're not confident in your ability, and you're second guessing yourself. So when you're in there with a lesser opponent and you're constantly thinking about being overly defensive, okay? You're constantly thinking about being overly defensive. You're missing opportunities that are there for you. So you're going to land one shot when there's two shots there and you're only taking the one. You're letting that guy hang around longer than he has to. And when you let a guy hang around longer than he has to, he could take you out later. Ask Vladimir Klitschko that question against Anthony Joshua. So if you're not confident in what you do, and if you're overthinking things, people who aren't confident, they think too much. Correct? They're always concerned about things, right? So if you're not confidence doesn't win fights. So you're going to go into a fight not thinking you can. So if you go to a fight not being confident, not thinking you can win, then you're not going to win.
Well, I don't know about that. I think that, when we talk about confidence, I mean, obviously Teofimo, Ryan Garcia, they all have this confidence about them. And maybe it's just maybe you just don't see the same type of flamboyant confidence.
Okay. But confidence allows you to showcase the full potential of your skills. If you're always saying to yourself, I'm going to hold back a little, just win the round safe. And then the round is even and you don't go out there and do that little extra that you need to do to win that round, you're not going to get the round. So skills wins fights, he says. Once again, the oversimplification of the average boxing fan here on the web, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to pull out the pen and the blackboard and teach you guys something. All these guys are at a high level. They all have skills. They were born with it.
Very little difference at the top.
They were born with it. So what separates each of them?
Yeah.
The intangibles. Heart. Killer instincts. Confidence. Will. Balls. Of course, skills is going to win fights when you're up here and another guy's down here. Okay? But put both of you guys up here. The little things is what separates you. Again, off night. Off night.
Stop it.
It's an off night.
Stop it, Beeb.
It's an off night.
All right. Let's talk about the news and rumors here. This is interesting, Beeb. The UK shuts down boxing again, shuts down a lot of events, basically, due to COVID. Now, you heard about this new strain of COVID or something like that. It's supposed to be super contagious. The regular COVID is super contagious, but apparently this one spreads a lot faster. But it's got the same, it's no more dangerous, I guess, than, actual COVID is dangerous. It's just as dangerous, put it that way. The Board of Control have decided to block any events taking place due to the recent spike and new strain of COVID-19. Hopefully this doesn't last too long and we can get back to normal with the vaccine soon. Now, I know they started vaccinating people in London. They've started vaccinating people in the UK, excuse me. People here have just been vaccinated. I know some of your family recently has been vaccinated. I know some of mine has.
My sister's been vaccinated. Yeah. That's
great, man. That's great. And then hopefully you and I will be vaccinated in a couple of weeks. I mean, we'll see what happens. And I tell you what, man, I'm looking forward to this, and I'm looking forward as soon as I get the vaccination, just going back to normal. Just my life going back to normal in the sense that I can go out and do whatever I want to. You know what I mean? And just, I don't know, just want to get back to normal. I think we're all tired of it, and we all want to get there. So,
Eric, I have a problem.
Yes.
I don't think I have the confidence to go through with the rest of this show. I'm lacking confidence. Can you help me?
Absolutely, Beeb. What do you mean you're lacking confidence?
Well,
Beeb,
I was told
John Travolta over there is lacking confidence. Are you serious?
I was told
Beeb,
that
you're from Beantown. That's second only to Title Town in Ohio.
I'm not sure if I can do this show because I lack the confidence.
Are you kidding me, Beeb? Lacking confidence? Look at you.
Do you think
look at you, Beeb. Look at you, great looking guy. You got a face for TV.
You think I can do it?
I think you could have been in movies, Beeb. I'll be honest with you. When I first met you, I thought you should have been in movies. And I don't think that window, let me tell you what, I don't think that window is closed for you. I think the way you break things down, you're a huge superstar, Beeb. And the fact is that you can finish a show tonight.
But I was told that I talk too loud. Should I whisper for the rest of the show because I'm hurting people's ears? Or
well, the thing is, Beeb, I mean, if you listen to everybody who tells you every little thing, you got to listen to what.
Wow. So that's American style. That's kind of a xenophobic statement, right?
What's American style? What's going on here?
He's saying that I'm talking about boxing. Get the fuck out of it. That's American style. You don't get to UK people, dude. I run the UK. Do you see all the people in the chat that are from the UK that love me? More people like me from the UK than like you, and I'm not even from there, buddy. Please.
I don't think he called you a racist. Leighton, he did not call you a racist.
I didn't call you a racist. I said again, you have a hard time comprehending things, brother. I said you're xenophobic. You're insulting me because I'm American. You're saying that's an American thing. You're making it about country, culture. That has nothing to do with it. I'm not. Again, I'll tell you like I tell everyone else. I'm not a fucking pussy. I'm not going to come on here and pussyfoot around shit. If I want to talk loud, I'm going to talk loud. I'm not in the fucking church. I'm not at a wake. I'm not fucking talking to fucking little kids. We're fucking men, okay? If someone raises your voice and you get a little intimidated by that or uncomfortable by that, then you're a pussy. I'm sorry. I'll just call you that. That's just my opinion. Eric raises his voice sometimes. Eric says things. Like, if we can't, be the way we are on here and we got to pussyfoot around,
yeah, we got to be.
That's fine. I'm a passionate guy. My voice raises when I get passionate about something. I'm not screaming and yelling at you in a hostile way. You're going to sit there and make statements. I challenge you on your statements. That's my opinion. I can challenge anyone I want on anything. You don't know what xenophobic means? Or I know what xenophobic means. Get a dictionary. You made a xenophobic statement. You said that's an American thing. This has nothing to do about American or UK. We're talking about boxing. Get a dictionary. No, you you open up the dictionary that you supposedly have and read the definition of xenophobic. I didn't say anything about UK, American. You were the one that brought up countries, nationality, not me.
Well, what about Nassim Hamed? Who's the other one? Carl Froch. Those guys were all outgoing.
Those guys were all confident, talkative. Xenophobic is not a race.
It's really not, though.
Xenophobic has nothing to do with race.
Different countries.
Because there's black people from America and there's black people from the UK. Again, you know what? You just disqualified yourself for even having a conversation with me because I can't talk to someone who doesn't understand what words mean. All right, let's move on. This guy's out of control. He thinks xenophobic and racist are the same thing. Eric's Mexican, okay? and he lives in America. There's Mexican people that live in Mexico. There's Mexican people that live in the UK. You insulted people from America by saying all we do is yell and scream. That's wrong. Again, let's get back to it. I'm sorry, Eric.
No, you're okay, man. All right, so let's talk about this. Shawn Porter has reportedly rejected an offer to face Terence Crawford, Beeb. He rejected it, threw it back on his heels. Now, listen, man, I'm not Porter's biggest fan, but the offer was supposedly for $1 million for the fight. $1 million. $1 million to fight Terence Crawford. Listen, man, Porter's definitely worth more than that. I'm not even a Porter guy, and I think that's a low ball offer.
How much did they give
wasn't it at least $2 to $3 million?
They gave Brooke $2 million, right? Or $3 million.
Right? Yeah,
right?
$2 to $3 million, I thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, man. I guess that's how negotiation is done, where they just give you a low ball offer, you counter, and then you get, but listen, man, come on. I mean, do you want the fight or not? He's got to I tell you what, Crawford's got to get out of Aram's stable. He's got to get out of Top Rank. I really believe that. He's got to get out of there. No?
I think so.
I really do. I think it's just it's kind of run its course. There's nobody there for him. There's nobody there for him.
It's a toxic environment at this point.
Not only that, because they're talking about fighting with the Pacquiao fight and everything like that. Pacquiao's with PBC now, right? Isn't he with PBC, or does he have a contract? Is he on a contract-to-contract basis or whatever? I don't know, but I don't know, man. I just think that he's got to get out of there. If he wants a big fight, he needs to leave there because they can't get it for him. Canelo Alvarez this week vacated his WBA middleweight title, so he'll be campaigning at super middleweight from now on. And what could be classified as the train wreck of the week, Beeb, De La Hoya wants a rematch with Mayweather. Oscar was asked this week if he would fight Canelo, since he's been calling out everybody, He said he would rather face Canelo's conqueror because Canelo's really nothing special. He'd rather face Floyd Mayweather. He's completely delusional, Beeb. He's completely delusional, this guy.
I'd rather see Floyd Mayweather fight him than fight friggin' Logan Paul, though, wouldn't you?
Logan Paul's from Titletown, son. What are you saying?
I knew you were going to say.
Let me tell you something. Logan Paul is six something, like 6'3" or something like that?
He's 6'3". He's a big dude.
6'3". He's a lot bigger than Mayweather. And I would guarantee, I would think that he's probably a little bit stronger, maybe a little bit stronger. Floyd's a professional athlete, maybe a little bit stronger than Floyd. He's faster than Floyd. I think Logan beats him. I think Logan beats him fairly easily.
Oh, wow.
It's Titletown, baby. What are you going to do?
Titletown.
267, area code 267.
That's Philly.
Is that Philly?
That's Philly. How you doing? Who's this, brother?
It's Philly. Drew Evo. What's up, we got?
I'm doing good, man.
Who are we speaking with?
Philly, I was Drew Evo. I watch you guys on the round table all the time because my co-host Dave from the 4-8 till now.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I got you.
Yeah, what I wanted to talk about was Shawn Porter. Like, he rejected the $1 million offer.
Yes.
And my opinion is, when Bob Arum said he'll go bankrupt promoting Terence Crawford, that's one of the reasons he's trying to lowball these top fighters, especially guys from PBC that's been champions before and everything. How much did he get paid for fighting Owen Spence, Shawn Porter? Like, over $1 million, right?
How much did he get paid for fighting? Say this again. Who's he, Beeb?
Remember when he fought Owen Spence, Shawn Porter?
He got a lot more money than How much did he get? I want to say $5 million. That was like the guarantee or something like that.
I can't remember, man.
Why would he fight him for $1 million though? You know what I mean?
That's a low ball offer without question. I'm not going to disagree with that.
This is why Terence Crawford needs to leave Top Rank, because he's not going to make no money fighting these top guys, because they're not going to take no low ball offers from Bob Arum, because he's used to promoting these other guys. They don't really have to,
make a lot of money from fights and everything because all the other guys on ESPN now are barely making $500,000 a fight. A lot of these guys, and Bob is used to promoting these types of guys, and now when like Terence Crawford's wants me to fight these bigger guys, he doesn't want to put that offer that much money out because he knows the more money he has to put out, the more he has to pay Terence Crawford, and the more he loses out at the end for some reason. I don't know why he don't want to make that much money with Terence Crawford. But Shawn Porter should at least make at least $3 million to fight Terence Crawford.
That's a bigger fight than $1 million. The $1 million that they offered Shawn Porter, and I mean Shawn Porter, like it or not, I mean, and I'm not his biggest fan at all, but listen, man, I mean, he deserves a little bit more respect than that. No, I mean that's crazy.
He does. He's a former champion. Like, he's a former champion. He beat top opposition at welterweight. He beat Danny Garcia. He actually gave Austin the best fight of his career. Like, I don't understand why he's getting lowballed like this. If you're going to lowball somebody like that, you might as well fight another top-ranked fighter or fight somebody maybe from Golden Boy, like Roger Ortiz.
Yeah, I mean, and there's nobody, quite frankly, there's nobody on that top right side for Crawford. Nobody of interest. Nobody wants to see any fights over there.
Yeah,
he's got to cross the street.
You can't give a guy like what's his name there, Brook, more money than Porter.
Come on, that's just silly.
You can't do that.
Like, do you want the fight or not?
Yeah, that's what I understand.
That's crazy.
Like, all that, you might as well let him fight like on a male con or something again. Like,
right.
But on the other film I saw about like Ryan Garcia, that fight yesterday, I saw that fight, and like from after what I saw, that kid's beatable. He's real beatable. Like from what I saw, it's good that he got up from that knockdown and knocked him out and everything. But I think these guys, if you compare him to all these top 5 fighters in his division, I think he ranks at the last because I think all of them can beat him. I think the only one he can probably have a chance to beat is Gervonta Davis.
I think he could beat Davis. I think he could beat Haney. Here's the thing. Everybody's got weaknesses. Everyone's flawed. But the question is this. Can everybody exploit those weaknesses and flaws? And can there once again, like I said, can their strengths compensate for their weaknesses? Can their strengths overshadow their weaknesses? You know, when you put a guy like Tank in there with Ryan, I think the height and the reach is going to definitely, and the way Ryan really knows how to fight on the inside, and Ryan's pretty strong too. Like when they were tying up, Ryan was able to control Campbell a lot. Like when he grabbed him up, he was able to walk him back, push him back to the ropes and stuff. He's a strong kid.
He's a strong guy, man.
I respect Tank a lot. Tank can punch. Tank's very crafty. Tank's a good counter puncher himself. Got power in both hands. He's fast. He's explosive. He's a solid fighter. There's no question about it. He's quick. But I just can't help but think that size of Ryan Garcia would not be a problem because Garcia does have speed, power himself. Then you add the size on top of that. And again, Haney just doesn't seem to be like a real aggressive power punching guy either. He seems to be the type of guy that's going to lay back, and Ryan can counter punch and he can be aggressive. So if Haney's going to sit back and just lie back there and fight a very slow paced, safety first type fight, he's going to lose rounds. So I'm going to go back to it. I think Teofimo Lopez is the most dangerous fight for Ryan right now. I really do.
Or anybody else for that matter, to be honest.
But Ryan doesn't need an inside game.
Knock him out.
Ryan doesn't need an inside game because he's got a good clinch game. If you have a good clinch game, you don't need a good inside game. That is your inside game.
Very good. All right, Philly, man, we're going to get going, man. Thank you so much, man. First-time caller, Philly. I haven't heard of it.
Call back, man. Call back.
Yeah, call back, man. Love it. Love it. 516, you're live.
Jesse Regan, what's up, guys?
The almighty.
Happy New Year.
Hold on. I gotta do something real quick because I forgot, and I'm gonna do it right now because I told Jesse I was gonna do this. Hold on for 1 second. I'll be right back, Eric. Continue to talk to Jesse. I'll be right back.
I don't have anything to say.
Well, I have a couple things to say actually. Number one, the Ryan fight was impressive yesterday. One thing I don't like is boxing fans. You guys are just quick to, like, if somebody has a victory, you guys don't even let them enjoy it. First thing you guys say is, not everyone, but, oh, I see flaws in him. Oh, he can't go against this guy. What? Let's just give him the flowers while he's still at it. You know, he came down from a knockdown, and you know he knocked him out in the 7th and looked very impressive.
He looked good.
Don't you agree, Eric?
I do, man. I tell you what, I thought in the second round it was over. As soon as I saw him go down and hit the deck like that, when his arm, collapsed right behind him, and he was face almost like, he just went down to the side, almost like his face was hitting the canvas and everything. I said, he's done. I said, he is done, man. But no, he got up and he continued to box. They slowed him. They got him to slow down. He started boxing very well and then put it together and got him out of there. He was a great performance, man.
Yeah, but don't you agree with me about like the fans? Like they're like, it's like
everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth.
They don't even give him the
Jesse Regan
the Mike Tyson shirt.
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. But they don't even.
Jesse Regan bought me this shirt for Christmas. I got to give him a shout out, man. Look at this shirt.
Oh, very nice, man. Very nice.
Just a nice friggin' shirt right
Merry
here.
Merry Christmas, bro.
Look at that, man. Look at Jesse buying clothes, man. That's awesome.
Thank you for the shirt, Jesse Regan.
That's very nice.
Merry
Jesse.
Christmas, bro. That's my boy.
Did you buy him a hat or anything to
and
go
I'm
with
wearing
it?
my Ringside Reporter shirt right now.
Oh, I love it. Love it. You got to love that. What else did you buy Beat for Christmas? Did you buy him a hat or a scarf or anything like that? Any kind of like accoutrement to what he's wearing? Let me ask you, what do you like to see Beeb in?
No, I did tell him that me, him, and Brian should go to a boxing Hall of Fame. I think that would be a dope trip.
Sure.
I would like to do that.
Kind of an overnight kind of thing, huh?
Asshole.
Yeah, a weekend. A weekend.
Like a long weekend, you and the Beeb.
Get some strippers.
Sure. Yeah. Of course. Strippers.
You don't get no better than me and the Beeb, bro.
I agree. So did you buy any jeans to go with the t-shirt you bought him? Do you know the Beeb's waist size?
No, I just got him that shirt.
The Beeb's waist size.
No.
Oh God!
I just know.
Let me ask you, like when he wears a hat, do you like it on like forward, or you like to turn it backwards for him? What style do you like better?
Beeb looks cooler backwards. I think I like backwards.
You like it backwards. Do you like? I mean, do you like when his hair is like fluffed up, like he just got up in the morning, or do you like it like pomaded, or like how do you like it?
The Beeb can do whatever the Beeb wants, bro. He's like The Rock. Instead of The Rock is the Beeb.
Yeah, I hear it. That's interesting.
Jesse,
all right, my number 2 comment is actually a complaint. Huh?
Tell him about Cobra Kai, Jesse.
Is that the best show ever? Don't ruin it for me.
Cobra Kai, you got to watch season 3. You got to watch season 3.
I'm right in the middle of it now, so don't say anything about it.
I won't say anything. It's great though.
That's one of my favorite shows.
Mine too.
Of all time.
Mine too.
My son came over yesterday, and we just had to do karate on each other just because of that show. Don't worry, I let him win, but it was a good fight. It was a good fight.
All right, I got
me and him are like Johnny Lawrence and Miguel. Okay, my number 2 thing I was going to call about. Why was I not a contender for Caller of the Year? I call up almost every episode.
No, you don't call it enough.
I made an epic bet with Brian on the Tyson Fury fight, where Brian actually paid me. I have some monumental moments on this show.
You bought Beeb some clothes. You like the way he looks. Beeb, stand up again. Show Jesse Reekin the shirt, just so he could see the wears. What do you think, Jesse? Does it fit him? Do you like the way it fits him?
I'm not watching on YouTube. I can't watch on YouTube while I'm on the phone.
Interesting.
But I'll check it out later, though.
Yeah. Well, hey, I mean, you bought him the clothes. I mean, why not check it out, right?
Yeah. But you didn't answer my question. Why was I not a contender for Caller of the Year?
Well, Jesse, I'll put it to you like this. I told Beeb, I said, Beeb, what about Jesse Reekin for Caller of the Year prior to the show? And he shot the idea down.
That's a lie.
I mean, that's, listen, I mean, I can only tell you what I can tell you. You know what I mean?
And then I guess my last thing is, what's the next fight coming up? Do we have a big fight coming up soon?
No. Caleb Plant, Truax, and then Kovalev and Beck the Bully, you're fighting January 30th. That's it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Caleb Plant, he's pretty good, man. I think people are crazy going saying that he could be Canelo. You know.
Yeah, he's not. Nobody's beating Canelo right now.
And then my prediction for 2021, what I want to happen is Tyson Fury could be Anthony Joshua and Deontay back to back, and just prove to the world, Tyson, that you're one of the best fighters of all time.
There you go.
And the Hector Camacho documentary is one of the best documentaries of all time.
It was
Go
good.
ahead. And then I'm done with my call.
All right, Jesse. We're going to get running, man. That was a good documentary. Beeb, it was good.
I like that. That was a great documentary.
I liked it too. So you got dudes buying you clothes now, huh? Little Lock and Barack action, huh?
It's a Christmas present. Come on.
You're going to take a long weekend, go up to Canastota and check out the Boxing Hall of Fame and other things, huh?
That's how it is, man. I mean, you have to have friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know, man. My boys ain't buying me clothes. I'm just saying.
You never got a Christmas present before from a guy?
Not like that. Not like, I mean, who buys you clothes?
Shirt,
Chicks buy you clothes.
It's a shirt.
It's not how we do it. I don't know how you guys do it on the East Coast with the peanut butter and the fluffernutter or whatever it is you call it.
It wasn't like he bought me like a Tommy Hilfiger underwear set or anything like that.
Hey, he was telling me like you had backwards and everything like that. That's messed up.
Bought me a T-shirt, man.
Hey. Yeah. You guys going to share a room when you go to Canastota, or how are you guys going to?
This ain't right, man. This ain't right.
I didn't say nothing, man. I didn't say nothing. 760, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, fellas?
Brian, what's happening?
Brian, what's happening?
Brian, do you have a lot of dudes buying you clothes?
Hey, actually, Jesse brought me a shirt too, one of them Mike Tyson shirts. Good looking out. You didn't get one?
You didn't get one, Eric?
He said Jesse bought me a shirt too.
You didn't get one, Eric?
No, I did not get one. No, I don't get clothes. No, I don't get clothes from dudes. All right,
man. He was being generous for the holidays, man.
I hear it.
Should have grabbed one.
It was a good.
But you know what, man? You know what? I should have been the caller of the year. I call every Sunday. Okay?
Let me tell you what happened, Brian. Let me tell you what happened.
You be hanging me up.
No, let me tell you what happened. Brian, prior to the show last week, I talked to Beeb and I said, what about Brian as caller of the year? Beeb immediately nixed the idea.
Immediately nixed it. Lie, man. Stop.
Hey, listen, Brian, I can only tell you what I can tell you.
You're trying to throw me under the bus this week, bro. Come on.
Unreal. Hey, listen, I mean, I'm just saying he got the shirt from Jesse Reekin. So Jesse Reekin was in the running, and then what happens, You know how Beeb is. He just, how he does people,
Yeah, man. Hey,
but I had your back.
Talk about this fight, man.
I had your back.
Look. Let me tell you, man. I told you Ryan Garcia is special. Okay, I seen this kid when this kid was like 9, 10 years old when I first walked in the gym, right? And I remember when I first seen him, he was bouncing on the trampoline, hitting on the mitts. And this when I first walked in a boxing gym. I walked in the gym and I seen him at that age hitting on the mitts quick. I said, man, that dude will kick my ass. He was like 9 years old, 10 years old. I was like, man, he'll probably whip my ass. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, I knew this dude was special. You know what I'm saying? He's finally getting his moment. However, like what Jesse was saying, we got a nitpick and all this stuff. I'm saying this because this is my boy, okay? Like, he kind of surprised me with his feet yesterday being so flat-footed. What about you, B? Did you think so?
You know, I have this conversation with people all the time, and I don't think when someone's flat-footed, it's a bad thing. I mean, you can go through the history of the sport of boxing. You can go through the history of the sport of boxing. There's a lot of guys that just don't fight on their toes. There's a lot of guys that just don't move a lot with their legs. They use a lot of upper body movement. They use a lot of upper body movement. Let me just finish this real quick. This is important. Chavez, Hagler, they moved forward. They didn't fight on their toes, but they cut off the ring. Ryan Garcia is the type of kid where he's not a guy that's is gonna be a guy who uses his legs a lot for defense. This is a guy who his offense is his defense. Right. And I said that, number one. Number two, he fought flat-footed last night for a couple of reasons. Number one, he knew Luke Campbell wasn't going to come forward. So he said, I'm going to hold my ground and push this guy back. So that's the reason why. Like that, Ryan Garcia is never going to be Hector Camacho. He's never going to be Pernell Whitaker. He's never going to be Sugar Ray Leonard. He's never going to be James Toney. And he sure as hell is never going to be Floyd Mayweather. Let the kid be who he is. That's, you know, I was highly critical of the kid. But I don't know if you heard what I said at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you heard what I said at the beginning of the show. I don't know if you were watching. But what they have done with the kid was they've refined him offensively. They calmed him down. They made him more fluid offensively. He's not as tight and not loading up and really pulling back and winging shots anymore. They made him a lot more efficient offensively. He's throwing his right hand as straight as an arrow. Right. He's gauging his distance better. You know, when he does fight out of that peekaboo stance, he's opening up his gloves and he's actually looking through and seeing what's coming back at him, and he's prepared to block and counter back now. What they're doing now is the same thing as I said about Canelo, is they're not focusing on his weaknesses. What they're trying to do is enhance his strengths enough where they overshadow his weaknesses. Because here's the thing. If you noticed last night, he kept Luke Campbell on the defensive the whole fight. Okay, and Luke Campbell did land the one good shot, but for most of the fight, it was all about Ryan Garcia controlling the fight, being the ring general, because he was so dominant offensively. You see what I'm saying? So he's gonna be Felix Trinidad. You know what he's gonna be? I hate to keep cutting you off. I apologize. I'm just gonna say this one last thing, and then I'm gonna let you burn. He's gonna be a Felix Trinidad with a right hand and more speed and more speed and more quickness. That's what he's going to be. He's going to be more along the lines of a Felix Trinidad. But go ahead.
Right. But you know, one thing though, man, is, you know, it's okay. He was flat-footed, right? But that's not the only thing, because, okay, I started noticing, and I noticed this early, probably in the first round before he got dropped, that, you know, I mean, this is the rule of thumb. You box before, you know that, you know, whenever you throw in a jab, the name of the game is to get on the outside, get your foot on the outside of his foot. You know what I'm saying? And if you go back and you look at that whole fight, I'm like, why is Ryan's foot on the inside of his foot? You know what I'm saying? And I noticed that early before he got dropped. And I'll tell you like this, okay? Tank Davis can punch, man, and he's a southpaw. So if he's going to do the same approach, you keep your foot on the inside of Tank Davis' jab foot, Tank Davis will put you to sleep. You know what I'm saying? That's the rule of thumb. You're supposed to go.
You're right.
Jab on the, you're supposed to go on the outside of a southpaw.
But you got to give.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, watch this fight. Go back and look at it again.
We noticed that real early
gotta
on. Yeah, that's
teach him
something we
that.
really noticed early on too. Is
But
that
you gotta-
that feet was on the,
You,
the foot
you
was on the
can't do
inside.
that. His foot
Right.
was on the inside of his jab. That's setting it up for that straight. I'm a southpaw, so I know you do that with me, I'm gonna put you to sleep. Tank Davis is a southpaw, and he's a same thing. He's a puncher that'll put you to sleep. All it takes is for you to do that one time, especially if you just flat, because you're supposed to bounce on defense. You bounce.
Well, that's why
You
you
know
got hit
what
with.
I'm saying? And I noticed he didn't have a bounce to him.
No, I don't think you have to bounce. You don't have to bounce on your when you're on the defense. That's
Mm-mm.
because if you're bouncing,
I didn't realize, man.
if you're bouncing when you're on the defense,
What was he saying?
I don't think you should bounce when you're on the defense, because if you're bouncing when you're on the defense, you should slide your feet.
No,
should-
you don't bounce. No,
You
you
should-
don't bounce on the defense. You get in and out. You bounce. You find a pivot. You find another angle and get back on
Yes.
the outside. You're not going to just hop around. You know
No.
what I'm saying? You don't just
No.
hop around, but you do got to get in and out. And he was too flat, especially being at, you know, with his reach and everything. And he was trying to do the shoulder roll. I mean, just that position, man, scared the shit out of me. Okay. 'Cause this is my buddy. I'm like, what is he doing, man?
Well, let's rephrase what you said. It's not the fact that he was flat-footed. It's his body. It's his positioning you didn't like. In other words, you could still slide.
Right.
You could
Yeah,
still
'cause
slide. You
the
could still
angle.
you could still slide over. Again, you don't have to be excessive with the movement. You could still be subtle with the movement. But again, we got to give Campbell credit for his.
Right.
Yeah. We got to give Campbell credit for his footwork, because I think Campbell was the one that was.
Yeah, he kept beating him on the outside.
Yeah.
He's
Campbell,
a really well-schooled
absolutely
fighter.
right.
Campbell is a
think-
really well-schooled
I
fighter.
don't think
He
Campbell.
did, man.
I don't want to say it wasn't what Ryan didn't do with the feet. I want to say it's what Campbell did do with the feet, because that's
Yeah,
one
very
thing.
much.
Campbell's really good at
Yeah, you're right about that. I didn't think of it like that.
Yeah, Campbell's good
I
at.
never
at
thought of it like that.
he's
either.
really good. He's really good at stepping around his opponent and circling, and he's really good at doing that. And I get what everyone's saying about Tank, but I'm going to go back to what I said earlier in the show. Tank is 5'5". He's got a 66, 67 inch reach.
Yeah.
This kid Garcia is 5'10 with a 71 inch reach. The size is going to play a factor.
Right.
He's going to have to, because Tank's going to have to.
But
Tank's going to have to.
but you
Tank's
gotta
going to have to
remember,
reach
Tank-
up. No, Tank's going to have to
Tank-
reach up. Tank's going to have to reach up to hit this kid. He's going to lose a lot of leverage on his shots.
But see, Tank is explosive. That's how he gets to
So-
those spots.
so's Ryan.
Because
So
he's
is
explosive.
Ryan. So is
Yeah,
Ryan.
yeah, that's
You gotta
true
hit your
too.
target.
It's true too.
Power is nothing if you can't hit
You
your
know
target.
what? Hey, it'll be a good fight, man. But you know, to me, in my opinion, I'll be honest. I think that Ryan did good, but he did make it a little bit harder than what it than what it should have been. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Because
but
of that
a lot of
position.
people aren't giving Luke Campbell credit for that, though, and I think that speaks to what Beeb said. It's people were acting like Ryan was going to come in there and steamroll this guy who was a former gold medalist, great fighter. I mean, this guy can fight, man.
Here's
Well-schooled fighter, man.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Let's put this in perspective a little bit, because a lot of people, in my opinion, they're not putting. And again, I picked Campbell.
Yeah,
I picked Campbell. Now, if you looked at anyone's list of rankings, any list you saw, BoxRec, any website, Ring, any website, Luke Campbell was in the top 5 of every person's rankings. Go look at a sanctioning body. Luke Campbell's in the top 5. So he's in the top 4, top 5. He beat a top 5 lightweight last night. Not a top 10. Not a top 10. A top 5. A top 5. A guy who I thought that fight with Linares could have gone either way. A guy who I thought after 6 rounds, I had the fight even with Lomachenko, and then Lomachenko just pulled away. I scored that fight 8-4 for Lomachenko. And I thought he hurt Lomachenko in that fight. He hurt Lomachenko in that fight. Even though he didn't knock him down, he hurt him. You know? And those body shots that he landed on Campbell, when he was landing on Lomachenko, he was hurting Lomachenko with those body shots. And this kid Garcia got hit right directly on the point of the chin with a guy who everyone thinks has no power.
Yeah.
But this guy has 16 knockouts in his 20 victories. So out of his 20 victories, only 4 guys went the distance. I'm not saying the guy's Mike Tyson, but he sure as fucking hell ain't Paulie Malignaggi either, with all due respect. So everybody really shit on Luke Campbell. They don't realize what this kid did last night. Does he have flaws? Yeah, you're right. You're right. He's not gonna be he's not gonna be that guy who's gonna be a good mover. I'm not gonna
say that, you know, I'm not gonna say Tank Davis can beat him. Them guys can beat him, but you know,
they may be able to beat him. I could be wrong again. They may be able to beat him. I could be wrong again.
They're all competitive fights, though.
They're all competitive fights, though. And I think
my thing is, you know, the saying, you ever heard of the saying, work smarter, not harder? You know what I'm saying? I just think with that strategy, you know, you got to be on the outside, man, because even though I feel what you're saying about Luke Campbell from the very jump on round 1, you're lining it up. You're lining it straight up for him because of the way that you're setting it up with your feet. And that's all I'm saying, man.
Well, my thing is, I guarantee they're going to go back to the drawing board on that. There was a lot of things.
Yeah, he's going to look at it.
He did a lot of things right, and he did a lot of things wrong.
But here's the thing.
He won the biggest fight of his life.
But here's the thing everybody says.
And that's what I was going to say. That knockout. Let me just say one thing, B. That knockout, man, he definitely, I mean, be honest, man. He wouldn't have. If he would have went 12 rounds and won a decision, it'd have been like, but that knockout, he definitely needed it. Not that he was losing the fight, but he needed it performance-wise. You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm glad he got that knockout. I'll say that right there. You know, that, I mean, me, when I seen him get the knockout, I stood up and started screaming, went crazy in here. You know what I'm saying? So it was a good victory, though. You know, still, you know, but out of them flaws, he still pulled it off, though.
Yeah,
and
sure.
Brian, every single thing you said was 110% correct, and I'm not challenging you on the validity of what you said. All I'm saying is this: every southpaw knows that the orthodox fighter is going to try to keep that foot on the outside of his foot. They know that,
right?
So they're going to try to not allow that to happen. So, and Luke Campbell, I think Luke Campbell has very underrated, exceptional footwork. And that's why I think, you know, his experience shined through. I think Garcia, after the 3rd round, really started figuring Campbell out and started making adjustments after the 3rd round. You know, so, you know, and here's another thing.
It was still a good win, man.
Yeah. Campbell's been knocked down by Lomachenko. He's been knocked down by Linares. I think someone else knocked him down. I think Mendy may have knocked him down too. He got up.
But nobody stopped him, huh?
No one stopped him. No one could keep him down. Like Garcia, and the way he landed that left hook was beautiful. The way he fainted that upstairs. So whether he beats I think he could beat.
Hey, you know what? Hey, one more thing. Hey, that was kind of like a Canelo shot, wasn't it?
That's what I said.
Yeah, that's what
I said.
That was a Canelo shot.
That was
because I thought that was.
I said that at the beginning of the show. At the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Beginning of the show. I said that was
Canelo. Head and bam, body. That's Canelo shit.
At the beginning of the show, I said that was a Canelo move. So you could see that
that's Canelo shit.
Yeah. Tank's gonna be favored going into a fight with Ryan, but I think Ryan beats him. I could be wrong, but I would pick Ryan.
Yeah.
All right, Brian, we're gonna get moving, man. Thank you so much for the call.
Hold on, wait, one more.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
What's he doing? Go ahead.
Nah, it's all good, man.
No, finish.
You always calling me like
finish.
that. Only you go.
You know, he can't.
I voted. You know what, Brian? I voted for you as caller of the year.
Called. That's why I can't be the caller of the year.
I tried.
That's why I can't be.
I did my best. I did my best for you, man.
He do me cold.
No, I want to hear what you're going to say. I want to hear what you're going to say, Brian.
You guys can hang up after. I just want to hear how you rank these guys, the kings, the 4 kings in that lightweight division, and that's it. Ryan, Gervonta, Teofimo, and Devin. How you rate these guys? How you 1 through 4? Where you put them at?
All right, we'll answer you. Hang on. All right, so I would rate it Teofimo. I think you got to rate Teofimo number 1, right?
Yes.
For me, it's Teofimo, Devin Haney, Gervonta Davis, and Ryan Garcia.
What about Lomachenko?
I didn't even think about him. I was just going off the 4.
All right, so we're not.
Is it just the 4? All right, well, let's put Lomachenko in there. All right, so Teofimo.
We'll just do the 4 like you said. That's
okay.
Fine. All right, so I'm gonna say Teofimo, Ryan, Tank, and Devin.
Wow, God, Devin gets no respect in your book, huh? You and Wood piling on my man Devin tonight. It's cold-blooded.
I'm not a huge fan of Devin, man. I'm not going to say he's the bad fighter, but I'm just not sold on Devin, man.
Yeah, I'd like to see him fight. Was he hurt in the Gamboa fight, or was there somebody? Because I don't know either. I don't remember it too well. I mean, I remember that it was disappointing in the fact that he went the distance.
Not that I know of that.
And listen, it went the distance. It was a clean sweep. He didn't win a round. You couldn't give the other guy a round. I get it, but. I would have liked to seen a better performance. I think a lot of people were disappointed in that performance. The only thing he could do is fight somebody better. And he wants to fight Garcia. And that's the easiest fight right now to make. It really is. It's the easiest fight to make. Yeah, JC said no one was injured. So, yeah. But would you agree that's, as of right now, the best fight to make might be him and Tank? But the easiest fight to make would be him and Garcia, given the fact they both got the same promoters right there.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. Not only easiest fight to make, but I think that would be an easier fight for him to win, too.
Oh, how dare you.
I'm going to be honest.
You're just taking a dump all over Devin Haney tonight. Because you know what? I'm going to put Devin Haney on the show, and you're going to have to answer for this.
But Devin Haney is not as dangerous as Tank with that fucking power.
Well, I mean, I think you could say that of just about anybody, with the exception of Lomachenko. I mean, or not Lomachenko, but Teofimo.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's got that kind of freakish power. And Teofimo is a guy that can knock you out from anywhere. And, I mean, you saw that uppercut that he hit Santa Cruz with. So.
I mean, all these guys can pop. They have respectable power. They can hurt each other.
Jason agrees with me. He says Haney beats Ryan. There you go.
I can't argue with that. I mean, they're all good fights, man. They're all tough fights.
Do they happen though? That's the other thing now is you got to wonder, does any of them happen? I heard some people in the chat, I saw some people in the chat talking about Linares next for Ryan Garcia. I think that's a good fight. That's a good fight for him.
He'll be next. Linares already called him out too. He said the little kid's not ready for me yet.
That's a much easier fight, I think. Yeah. That's a much better fight than Haney. But I think both of those guys need to work up a little bit, but what do I know?
We'll see.
We'll see how it is. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at jhabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. You can find me on Twitter at ringside73, and we will see you guys next week.